You'll each come into your half share of the trust.
How much is that?
Louise was one middle-aged woman who thought she would use her love charm to become rich, which sort of worked out for her, but what she forgot was that what goes around comes around. After being Richard Hawking's secretary for years, she managed to get him to marry her, and just after 4 days of marriage, she poisoned the guy and made it seem like he had died of a heart attack so that she could inherit all his things apart from the children trust that he had for his 2 children, Verity Hawking and Jonathan Hawking, whatever the love portions she gave to men to control them. God knows, because Richard did not change his will at the last minute, which surprised his children, by the way. But she rather used her love portion, or charm, I would say, to control and manipulate. The family lawyer to the Hawking family, she made him to change Richard's will that claimed her as the sole heir to all his things in business. But what she didn't see coming was that the mansion she thought belonged to Richard belonged to his late wife, the mother of Verity and John. And the other thing she didn't see coming was that Richard had a lot of debts, which claimed almost everything he had after he died, meaning Louise had inherited nothing. She then pushed married Eugene to get her the mansion, and of course, using her love charm, but there was no way yet. And when Jonathan kicked her and her son out of their mother's mansion, she put her apartment on fire, knowing that if she went back to the mansion and asked the children to stay for a few days, they would accept, which would buy her some time to make her next move. And even though John had refused to help them, giving them a hotel as an option, Verity let them in, since she had started a thing with her stepbrother, Eric, not knowing that it was part of Louise's game as a backup because of how everything was strange from the abrupt death of their father, claiming it was a heart attack, and yet he had no history of such, to how he also changed his will. Just 4 days after his marriage to Louise, John decided to hire a private detective, Gary Sims, to check out Louise, because she risked everything to get Richard's money, which was not there. Apart from the children's trust of $2 million, which Eugene had access to since he was their lawyer, Louise used her love charm to persuade him to steal the money from the bank and flee with her. And Eugene stupidly thought about it if it was the only option to be with her, not even thinking about the child he had with his wife and the crime he was about to. Even though Eric looked innocent, he was very bad as his mother, since he was following her orders to do anything to steal from the Hawkings. One day when he happened to be on the boat with John alone, who by the way was trying to be nice to him because of his sister Verity, he distracted John and got him into an accident that claimed his life. And now that he was out of the picture, Louise was left with Verity, who was spoiled and drunk most of the time. But good enough, there was April, John's wife and now a widow, who got her in a straight line, especially after finding out that she was expecting John's child and the only family she was left with. It was thanks to her that Verity decided to stop drinking to act responsibly, which by the way, saved her life, because that very night, Louise had poisoned the drink that she walks into her bag after telling them that she was going to sell the house and leave. When she found out that Eugene was having an affair with Louise, if Verity died, Louise was the next in line to have the house. At least that was what Louise thought, since she didn't know that April was expecting John's child to cut. To a long story short, when Louise saw that things were not going her way, the option she was left with was to put Eugene under pressure to steal the $2 million from the trust fund. And when he did, her son, Eric, had orders to claim Eugene's life, which he did. But then when Verity and April heard the gunshot, since the mansion was big, when Verity went to see what was going on, at first, Eric made it look like he had a fight with Eugene and it was self-defense, but then she saw the housemaid lying down dead with a knife in her back. Eric tried to attack her too, but thanks to April, who saved her life, when she shot him using the gun he used to kill Eugene, that he had put. When Louise saw her son shot, she decided to run away with the money to a ferry she was going to use to get out of the country, but Verity ran after her. And when Louise tried to attack Verity, she fell down from a big height and lost her life simply because of greed for money she did not work for. Thanks for watching. If you have come this far, and consider subscribing now.